Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 505 of the DrunkNerds Podcast. I'm, as always, I am Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm doing fantastic. Work week was hard, but at the same time, it's rewarding enough to where I finally have a couple days off.
Nice.
So that's always a nice, pleasant plan. But when it comes to gaming this past week, there are a couple things I did finish up. There was a couple things I did start. And on top of that, it's like I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited because it's like Live Alive released on Friday, or as a recording yesterday.
Yep.
Then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is going to be next Friday. So, yeah, there's definitely some much gaming on the horizon for Sir Colonel Gables. But other than that, though, how have you been?
You know me, man. It's clanging and banging as always, drinking some, I had this in a while, some good Samuel Adams Cherry Wheat, one of my favorites. Maybe had a few too many before we start recording. I don't know. We'll see how the podcast goes, Gables. You might take over at some point. Well, who knows? But yeah, I'm doing okay, feeling pretty good right now, clanging and banging, like I said. I am having the opposite, they're losing days off instead of just having my days off. So that sucks. But, yeah, could be better, could be worse, But yeah, I mean, nothing too exciting going on with me, I don't think. Oh, I got a new cell phone. That's pretty exciting. That's exciting, I don't think.
New phone.
Yeah, I found the good news is, look, I was able to track down the exact same phone case that I had on my old phone, my Charizard phone case. So that's pretty exciting. I got the Apple 13 now. So.
Oh, you got the Apple 13. Okay, I'm still carrying my 6S Plus that I've had for like the past couple of years.
Everything you just said there hurts me, Gables. What's your battery life, like 12 seconds?
Oh no, it actually lasts a good solid like 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, ain't terrible. All right, good for you. Yeah, I'm not like the new phone. I went from I'm like the guy who trades up every like 3 years, but I paid off my iPhone 11 I got a couple years ago, and I was like, I'm just gonna. Usually I'll pay it off. It takes 2 years to pay off, and I'll upgrade. Then I'll wait an extra year and I'll upgrade. I usually get like a new one every 3 years. And I'll just grab whatever's the newest phone, and they had a deal where it was like $800 off, and I'm like, okay, so I got it for $300. So I'm like, cool. So my phone bill went down like $40, and I got a brand new phone. Awesome. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And so that's nice.
That's awesome though. You got yourself a new phone though.
Got a new phone. Yeah, got a new phone, and I cut my phone bill down by like 30%. So fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I use my phone a lot because of I drive for a living, so I usually have Apple Map up or something like that. So and listen, I'm Bluetoothing on my headphones with a podcast. So it's nice because the iPhone 11, the battery was not doing as well as it once was. So yeah, it's a nice little upgrade there. And it's bigger. It's actually got an OLED screen. I've never owned anything with it's people don't know it's 1051 my time. Yeah. There's a little picture of Louis for YouTube listeners. Look, he's so cute. If I hold it, he'll move. Maybe. Sometimes he moves. You know what? I gotta be looking at it for it to move. That's right. That's what. Oh, he's so cute. I love the guy. Little cute fucker. He's in the bed sleeping right now. But anyways, if you're watching on YouTube and you just saw a picture of my cute dog, you should like and subscribe for that. And then also, look down in the show notes. You'll see links to everywhere else we're available: Facebook, Twitter, Apple Podcast, Spotify, all that fun places. Go there, click on those, leave us a review, like, subscribe, whatever the hell you gotta do over there. We appreciate it. And if you're an audio listener, do the same thing, but click on the link, go to YouTube, and like and subscribe as well. Every time you hit a like button, it's over there by Gables' junk area, and it'll make him very happy. So every time you like our podcast, Trey Lance will throw a touchdown.
That would actually be pretty hilarious, but that could backfire horribly.
Yeah, that could backfire. For every thumbs down you get,
Aaron Rodgers throws an interception.
Well, don't do that because people don't like. It's easy to hate Aaron Rodgers. Like I kind of hate Aaron Rodgers. Now I'm gonna go and dislike all our podcasts because of that, and that's gonna upset me. So we tracked that last statement. What Gable said was wrong and dumb, and he'll never do that again. Gable apologized.
Aaron Rodgers threw 10 interceptions in one game.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers threw 522 interceptions this season. What the fuck happened there? He's thrown like 90 in his whole career. Um, Jesus. Oh, I just the thought of that hurts me. Let's not do that, Gables. Don't do that. Why you gotta hurt me now? It's late July, and we're already gonna talk about football. Although I am watching a lot of like, I'm at that point now where we're just like, there's just like, now basketball's over. I have nothing for like sports. So I've just been like spending hours the last few weeks, like, cause I get home late. So I usually have like 30, 40 minutes of like free time. So like, instead of like trying to watch a show that needs my attention, I'm just watching like YouTube clips of like football and basketball moments.
Yeah.
So I'm at that point now of the summer where I'm just missing like the Hall of Fame game, the football, the preseason game for NFL, that is awful. I am like looking forward to. That's like a week and a half away.
Yeah,
So.
exactly, Tyler. We're like a week and a half away from actual football being back.
What's not called actual football? It's football.
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah, you know, we'll take it.
Preseason, training camp, trades. You never know.
Yeah. Fantasy football, fantasy fucking football. That's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, we're doing all that. But Gables, we are a video game podcast primarily, so let's say we get some video games.
Alrighty.
All right. Louis must have heard me say his name. I just heard him. He's back there somewhere staring at me probably. But anyways, Gables. Let's talk about some Ubisoft here. A lot of Ubisoft stuff going on right now. So I had it in our like other news this week area, because it was like kind of small. There wasn't a lot to it, but it kind of blew up. Well, we just never got to it last week because we're running long. But it kind of blew up over the week though. Like, so Jeff Grubb and Just Schreier both mentioned that the next Assassin's Creed game that Ubisoft has already said will be showing up in September, and since then they've said there's going to be a Ubisoft Forward September 10th. It sounds like it's primarily the big thing is going to be the next Assassin's Creed game that Ubisoft already said they were going to talk about.
Right.
But that's going to be like the big like showpiece thing. That's going to be like the one more thing. That's going to be the thing that takes up probably the good chunk of the time. But from what we understand now, so part of what we got was that it's going to take place in the Middle East, in the Jerusalem area. So that is, I believe, where the original Assassin's Creed took place with Altair. So no idea what the timeline is of that though. Where like does it take place? I can't remember. I think that was like the 1500s. I feel like I'm wrong.
I'm guessing I'm definitely guessing like 1500s of that sort.
Yeah,
possibly.
I know we have Google, but I'm not. It's my phone's so far away. I'm not gonna look it up. But so it's supposed to take place in the Middle East, like that Jerusalem area. Probably going to take place over like multiple countries, but in that area, it's codenamed Rift. It was originally supposed to be an expansion for Valhalla, but it morphed to a standalone game in order to fill in a hole because Ubisoft's release schedule is kind of thin. So it was originally supposed to release in February, but it's been pushed back from spring. This is the second time. This is all from Jay Schreier here. This is the second time the game has been delayed in the last couple weeks. It was originally, I think they were like hoping to maybe get it in earlier this year. It sounded like they were wanting to get it in this holiday, but then it got moved to the beginning of this year, and then it got moved to February, and now it's being pushed to the next fiscal year.
Right.
So they're hoping to at least get it in the 2022. This would be the 2022 fiscal year. Now it's being pushed to the 2023 fiscal year. So after April 1st, basically.
I see.
And Jeff Grubb here has also said that part of this is that it is more keen to the original Assassin's Creed game. So kind of what we saw with like Ezio and Altair and Assassin's Creed 3, and then kind of we saw like a big Black Flag. We saw some changes obviously, but then like was it Odyssey? Was that the one? No, Odyssey's the one I like. What's the one that was in Egypt that you liked?
Origin?
Yeah, Origin. So that was like, well, like it totally turned off and just became The Witcher. But like they made like the map, the thing they created, the map game, and they just Origins. So it sounds like it's gonna go back to kind of more of the basics, but like it said here, it was supposed to be a standalone thing, like kind of like with Skull Bones. It was supposed to be like a Black Flag DLC pack, and then turned to its own standalone thing 9 years later. Here we are. But yeah, I don't know. Gables, like I've been in like a weird spot with Assassin's Creed for a very long time, and I've said over and over again that like, you know, it's been really, was it 2014 when the one that the twins with the EV that you remember the name of and I don't.
It starts with an S.
Syndicate?
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know why. It still, like, we've been doing this for like 8 years, Gables, like that back and forth with Syndicate, and it still baffles me. Like, I beat that game.
You beat
and
that
you've never
game,
played
you played it. You can't remember the name of it, whereas
I
can
don't remember the
it
name
off
of
the
it.
top of my
And I
head.
like the game. Yeah, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyways, so Syndicate was like the last real Ubisoft game, and I have no problems with it. It was still overall, it was a much better game than the one before that, which was called
Unity.
Unity. God damn! Wow, man. Gills, I used to have like an incredible memory, and I feel like I don't know what it was. I feel like 30 hit and it was gone.
Dude, don't feel too bad. I mean, for God's sake, yeah, I have those moments at work, and my fucking coworkers get kind of crazy with me because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. God, what the hell happened to me, man? As I have like 5 beers next to me here. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just, I've been missing that old school Assassin's Creed games, and I'd like to have, bring it back. I loved Odyssey, but I loved Odyssey for like because the game's actually really good. But like it was a great game, but like um the Assassin's Creed parts kind of got in the way. And like even like Black Flag, I thought about the best parts of Black Flag were like the non Assassin's Creed parts, and that was like I think where I was getting burnt out a little bit. And now I'm like tone it down a little bit, like especially like the way their games get, like the map game thing where it's just like uploaded. Like you open up the map and you look and you zone out and it's like a million things to do, and it's like who wants this? Like like who enjoys this? And like every time you hear about like the big complaints about like Valhalla and Far Cry 6 was like Valhalla took like 80 to 100 hours to beat. Like that's JRPG levels of craziness. And then like
that's true. And not a lot of
Far
people
Cry
are
6
going to want to invest like about 80 to 100 hours on one game.
Yeah.
Not a lot of like casual gamer types would want to go through if someone were to buy like say 1 or 2 games a year, or even like just a small handful and stuff. I could see the justification of someone buying that type of content if they really are into the Assassin's Creed series like that. But for those of us that usually buy multiple different games a month and stuff, I mean that's a lot of grinding.
Yeah, like definitely. Like I mean, the Assassin's Creed games are much bigger now than they ever have been, and they sell extremely well. And there's people out there, that they only buy a handful of games a year, maybe like 1 or 2 games a year or something. So for them, like they look at that. Like, I remember like during the last Extra Life, Nerves bought Valhalla, and he was playing it, and the game had been out for like a year. He bought it when it first came out, and it's like at that point it had been out for a year, and he's like talking about like, oh yeah, like I'm like 25 hours in. He's like, but it's gonna take like 5 years to beat this game. It's like for someone like him, maybe, but like he's fallen off of it. Like I haven't seen him play it forever on PlayStation. So, yeah, I don't. I feel like all I've ever heard people talk about is like, yeah, the game's really good, but they just drag on too long. Far Cry 6 especially were, like I don't know, it's like it could. Those games should be like 20 hours for like the campaign and like light, like doing other shit. But yeah, if you want to put 80 hours into it, you can. But shouldn't.
Right.
Those games I don't want to put 80 hours. Like I talk about like Odyssey, I loved it. But I paid the $10 to have the double XP because I'm like, I love this game. I want to keep playing it, and like if I just got paid $10 to just like get like like it hurts. Justin, I still don't think has forgiven me for it. That was like 4 years ago, and I don't know if I necessarily blame him for it, but I did it, and but like I love that game, and I'm happy. I'm not upset myself so much for doing it. I'm more upset with Ubisoft for having that be there, but because I actually really enjoy the game and I want to keep playing it. And I'm glad I beat the game, but I would not have beaten the game if they didn't have the double XP because the game was so heavily based on grinding and everything. And but yeah, I just I'm excited for the idea of like maybe it's just a one-off. I don't know. But like there's the Assassin's Creed Infinite that is supposed to be happening. That's like their live service version where like I still don't fully understand what that thing is going to be. I don't know if anybody does. Like, so now there's rumors of like the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be an Asia-based game,
Mhm.
which I don't know is a game we've literally been asking for over a decade now as Assassin's Creed fans, and it's like now Ghost of Tsushima is a thing, and it's like yeah, too little, too late on that one, buddy. You know, it's like it was our game of the year for 2020.
Yep.
I love that game. I should say I love that game. I really really like that game.
Mhm.
You really like that game.
Yes, I do.
And it is a Ubisoft map game, but like on a much smaller scale as far as like there isn't a million things to do, but there's a lot of things to do and they are more impactful and they're fun to do.
Yes,
And
and
it's not just
unlike a lot of the Ubisoft games, holy shit, the amount of detail and work that was put into that game in terms of its visual fidelity and also in terms of like the mission structure and everything, it looks so fucking beautiful. Ghost of
oh yeah,
Tsushima,
it's beautiful.
especially when
Yeah,
you got the right fucking screen, the whole
the
six
flowers.
like the 120 hertz, all that other shit. You
Mhm.
know, it looks like poetry in motion.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. As
oh yeah,
compared to like say a normal Ubisoft game to where they have their little hiccups here and there in terms of their graphical fidelities. Even from the Ubisoft games that I've personally played and stuff, there's always some form of hitches inside the environment, or there's always some form of like messing up of the AI and stuff. The infamous moment where I was playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, where I was controlling a helicopter and the helicopter got freaking trapped in a certain spot, and it kept subsequently sliding down a hill and then just went into the damn river, just sank.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean I was there at the launch of what was the Assassin's Creed game we were just talking about, the one before Syndicate?
Unity.
Yeah. Unity. Thank you. God damn. It's not great, guys. I'm not doing good over here. I should probably go to the doctor. But yeah, I mean I was there when like the faces were creepy. And then they were like there was like they didn't have women in the game. It's like, well, women are too hard to program. What? So that was remember that remember those days, Gables?
Yes, I
And then like
do.
to make up for it, the next game came out and they
Such
had
a lazy
Evie.
ass response.
Yeah, it's like, excuse me, what? So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for the prospect. And then I have, like I said, the Unity thing. I mean, obviously, like Asia doesn't. I mean, Japan is a very small part of Asia. I mean, that could mean Russia for all we fucking know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably. I mean, I maybe if they go to China, that could be kind of cool. I don't. I kind of hope it's just not Japan because like, I feel like Ghost is gonna fill that gap for us. Like, there's a sequel coming. I mean, it's all but pretty much
Yeah.
assured at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, based off of just the fact the game sold extremely well. They just announced it sold nearly 10 million copies. And they're hiring, like you look at like like what they're looking for when they're hiring for people for staff over there, that it basically just sounds like Tsushima 2.
Dude, it's basically on the same echelon as some of like the first party Nintendo games on Switch.
Yeah.
Over 10 million mark and stuff of that
Oh
sort.
yeah, the Luigi Mansion 3 threshold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool if maybe do China or something like that. But like, yeah, maybe just stay away from Japan at this point. Like, we've been begging for it for so long, and now someone else is doing it and probably doing
They
it
did
better
it
than.
better than what they
Yeah,
could possibly have mustered.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, like the current Assassin's Creed. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I just don't know what the. I mean, like, I guess we could just jump into like some more Ubisoft stuff here.
Okay.
But like Ubisoft as a whole is just in a weird spot where, it's like. So there's just a lot going on here. So they had a conference call, kind of going over the of Q1. They announced the Avatar game that they were supposed to come out this year, and they were telling retailers just a few weeks ago that they were planning on releasing it November 15th, and that now the game is being delayed, not just into next year, but post April of next year. So April 1st, so the next fiscal year. So not just got delayed into early next year, all the way out. So I guess the game is actually like in a pretty good spot. It's just like it sounds like the game is just not done. It's kind of a matter of just like crossing the T's, dotting the I's kind of thing here. Where there's
So it's like the same thing quintessentially as with Assassin's Creed here, to where they're doing it in the next year's fiscal year.
Yeah, but the game was supposed to come out this year because the movie's coming out in December, so they wanted to come out and match with that. So that was kind of the big deal there. It's like they were really hoping, and like I said, they were telling retailers in June that the date leaked for November 15th, and now it's being moved to next to probably springtime, summertime, whatever of next year. They also announced that 4 games have got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them were unnamed games.
Right.
The other one was Splinter Cell VR game
Okay.
and Ghost Recon Frontline. Ghost Recon Frontline was like going to be like their free to play battle royale game. Yep. And what's interesting with this is that there's a Division battle royale game they were working on for a very long time. They announced it. I think it's like Heartland or something like that. They announced like a year or so ago, and that was supposed to be a battle royale game, and they shelved that one just because like it just
there was no interest.
I think it was more so like I can't remember if it was the Ghost Recon Frontline or the Division. I think it was the Division battle royale game they were working on, and like it got play tested, and people just just came back negative. And I mean that kind of happens, and usually they kind of go back to the drawing board, make some changes, and it comes back and it's fine. Like that happens all the time. That's what playtesting is for. But they basically they didn't cancel it, but they shelved it, and now since Ghost Recon Frontland has been essentially canceled now, they have now taken the Division game off the shelf, and now they're trying to incorporate roguelike mechanics into this game.
Roguelike mechanics into this game.
Yes.
So they're stuff. So they're gonna take out the whole like battle royale sort of mechanics and just have like sort of like a roguelike type of experience with it.
No idea what that means. I don't know if the battle royale stuff is going to be a part of that still, which I don't know. I mean, I guess
I personally feel like they just need to can the game outright, just create a new game if they're going to go with a roguelike type of shit.
Gables, they've done that. We have a Hyperscape that came out. Remember that game came out a couple years ago? That's supposed to be like their big like Warzone and Fortnite competition. And that game got shut down less than a year later.
Yeah.
They announced, I can't remember if it was either last year or the year before. There was that Tom Clancy's X Defiant. That was like, it was like it looked like just a generic first-person shooter, Call of Duty rip-off first-person shooter, but like a lot of colors, like just like exploding, like kind of the new NXT 2.0 like color explosion.
Oh god,
or like my Forza Horizon 5 Xbox controller of color explosion. And so people are upset because like they're kind of abusing the Tom Clancy name, which that's a whole other thing we talk about. But so they took the name of Tom Clancy off it, but X Defiant, and we just haven't heard anything about that game since then. But that's supposed to be their new battle royale because Hyperscape failed. So yeah, I just don't know what's going on with them.
They are in an incredibly weird spot. That's for sure.
Yeah,
because there's been so many failures mixed into so many different type of questionable business decisions on top of all the other personal bullshit that they've initially been going through as a company in general, their allegations, this and that. It feels like a hurricane of terrible situations and terrible set of circumstances in regards to these games. And on top of that, it doesn't help matters that the NFT stuff that was implemented in some of their previous games, and on top of that, how much fucking failure it has been putting out for the lack of interest of the Ghost Recon brand itself after Breakpoint, and it's a perfect storm of shit.
About Breakpoint, good point. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then there's like I always want to give them some props because they try a lot of things, like, and a lot of times you look at them like that looks like it's gonna suck. Like,
right.
I mean, we were like, I was poo-pooing the Mario plus Rabbids game rumors for a year, and then the game came out. We finally saw gameplay, and it was
actually looked good.
It would look fantastic, and it's still my favorite Switch game to date. Like we've I'm a big fan of Watch Dogs. I was a big defender of Watch Dogs. It wasn't like a game of the year contender, but I thought it was a very good game, and like Watch Dogs 2 was was a really great game, I thought. And then they bungled the Watch Dogs.
Legion.
The fuck was that one? What?
Legion,
yeah. I mean, that one I just didn't have any interest remembering, so I'm not gonna.
I played a game trial of that one too, Tyler, and really it didn't have too much interest. It's the one with interchangeable like set of characters, so you didn't really get attached to like one person.
Yeah, it didn't sell me on it, and then reviews came out. It just sounded like whatever. So, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned Ghost Recon Breakpoint, that kind of came and went. And like I said, Hyperscape. It's just like, then we have like the Immortals Phoenix Rising. So like that now there's like the spinoff of that isn't apparently it's gonna take place. It's in like a Hawaii Polynesian
Oh, okay.
region, and a screenshot of that was leaked
That
as
could be an
well.
interesting
Of the
idea in terms of not just a
yeah
set of a game, but at the same time they have a whole bunch of like tribal stuff, like traditional stuff, and also in
yeah,
terms
and
of
they're
like gods and this and that. So it could be interesting.
gonna change the art style. They're basically just trying like the first game basically was just a ripoff. It was like if Ubisoft made a Breath of the Wild game,
Oh,
and they're trying to change that. They're changing the art style up a little bit, and they're gonna try to like kind of change the tone a little bit. No idea if like the god talking to you thing is gonna be a thing or not still, but yeah, they're talking about I guess possibly changing that, but no idea what they're planning on doing there. Um, but yeah, I just I don't know what's going on with them. Like this feels like it's been a very long time of like just inconsistency. Where like yeah, like they would throw shit out there like in the 360 PS3 era. They were like they threw there's a lot of garbage of Ubisoft always coming out, but like
mm.
they just started hitting there. It felt like that second half of that generation, and then like the first half of the PS4 Xbox One generation. Um, and it just seems like the last 4 or 5 years they've lost their way. It's been a lot of like there's the Prince of Persia shit where like that game was supposed to come out in the beginning of last year.
Yep.
It's supposed to come out like January 2021, and they announced it in June 2020, and then the game that got delayed because it looked terrible. And now the game a few months ago got moved to a new developer and is basically being redone. Like the game went from being out in 6 months to now it's gonna be possibly released in 2024. Um, Watch Dogs is basically a dead franchise at this point. Assassin's Creed's in a weird spot where like they just don't seem to know what they want to do with it. Skull and Bones, that's a whole nother like that's
That
9 years
thing,
of game development.
dude, I do
Of
not
like
expect anything in regard to Skull and Bones to be relatively good. I have such low
no,
expectations of that game.
yeah. I mean, it feels like Gables. Remember Roller Champions?
No.
That game came out less than 2 months ago. That's the one where like they're on the rollerblades and they're going in a circle. They announced years ago, and like we just didn't hear anything about it. And then they just dropped it and put it out at the end of May.
That's definitely
Um,
on them because I didn't fucking even hear about this thing, and then apparently it released a
we
couple
talked
months
about
ago.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
totally
even
forgot
remember
about it.
talking about it. That's how
Yeah,
fucking bullshit and bad that was.
yeah. Like the game I heard was very like the game was technically fine. It was a free to play game. It's on. It's like you can play it anywhere. But it's just like it just came and went, and that's why I feel like that's probably what's gonna happen with Skull and Bones. But they're gonna charge you $70 for it. Um, it's like I said, you mentioned Breakpoint. We X Defiant. What like they announced the game a year plus ago, possibly 2 years ago. I can't remember when they announced it. No idea what's going on with that game. Um, I mean, they're canceling games left and right here, like games they announce. Part of the problem is it seems like they announce games like it seems like almost like the moment they get greenlit in a boardroom, they announce the game or something like Beyond Good and Evil 2. Apparently, there's been some internal testing, so that game is. They said in the last quarter conference call they had that the game is still in development, which
Uh-huh.
they I'm gonna bet that's true because they're telling stockholders that that's the case. So they can't lie about that. I mean, they could lie about it, but if
That's
like
not
I
good.
doubt nothing major would happen, but it'd be stupid to lie about something like that. And apparently there's some internal testing going on with that one, so something's happening there. Is Joseph Gordon-Levitt still not paying people to make art for that game? Who knows? Remember that Gables? Remember that whole thing? Um,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, like it's I don't know. I mean, like this is the studio we talk about. I talked about, I raved about them for when the beginning, like when we started this podcast 9 years ago, they were like one of my favorite developers. Like, it just seemed like everything they were putting out was like awesome for a very long time. Like they were reliable and like they were taking
And
chances. And
exactly,
then,
you would if you didn't like a certain game they put out that stemmed from like that 2013 onwards to maybe like I would say around 2016, 2018 or whatsoever. Then yeah, there will always be a couple of other games you could try to delve yourself into, but at this moment in
yeah,
time, it feels like they've become so stagnated with all these multiple bungles of like releases, all this other bullshit, all these other controversies that they feel like they are a company that's about to be bought out.
yeah. And then, I mean, that was the rumor that they were trying to sell to somebody, but also wanted to keep themselves in power. Like, Uh,
Easgamo.
yeah, he's Gamal. Thank you. Yeah, wanting to keep himself in power. Yeah, I talk about over and over again, bro. We bring these games like Valiant Hearts, Child of Light, the Rayman games, bring those back. Were amazing. Like they took a lot of chances, and they not all of them hit, but like they were like you at least know like their games would come out, and they would at least be quality games.
Yes.
They're never gonna be bad games. Then obviously we've seen that with like, Unity and stuff like that we talked about. Um, and yeah, they used to like change gaming, like a whole generation of games like basically just took their formulas and
Yep.
created like you look at like the Division. That was one of the first big games to do that style. You look at Far Cry 3, you look at Assassin's Creed, look at Watch Dogs. Like they created the map game, like,
Hmm.
and people have taken those formulas and built upon them and made them better. Breath of the fucking Wild wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for Far Cry 3. Um, and now it just seems like instead of them changing gaming, they're chasing
They're chasing
like
trends.
yeah, exactly, yeah, they're like they're trying to like like NFTs or like get up like they're trying to make battle royale games, and it's just like they're just there's no
Buzzwords.
heart.
Buzz terms.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like it feels like to me like almost like when Disney first bought Star Wars, where it was like you can like I'll talk a lot of shit about the prequels of Star Wars, but it was like George Lucas wanted to write that story, and
Yep.
he wanted to tell that story. That was, I mean, obviously he wanted to make money, but also there was a passion behind that project, and he just didn't do a very good job. But he tried, you know. And I know people defend it, but I didn't like it that much. I thought Revenge of the Sith is a good movie though, but like he just didn't do a good job of telling that story. But then like Disney bought it, and it's like cool, like we're making this, and this, and there's like now it's a business move,
Hmm.
and instead of you know, a like passion project, now we're just doing it. We're making it all. We're gonna tell you every square inch of story in this. We're gonna tell you everything that happened like between 3 and 4. Like we're gonna tell you exactly what happened with the map for in Rogue One. I did really like Rogue One though. We're gonna make 7, 8, 9, and like we're gonna just copy episode 4 with 7, and then like, well, we don't have a plan for 8, 9, but we're making 8, 9. It's like I started going on Star Wars tangent, but it just felt like now instead of just like making these passion projects people want to make, now it's like a boardroom is like, well, we need to make this and this and this, so let's just get our teams together and say, hey, you're making this game, and now we're instead of like people like making things they're passionate about. I mean, I'm not saying they're not passionate about trying to make these games good. Not saying it at all, but it's when you're being told you have to make a game this way instead of like thinking of and working on this project that you guys
Hmm.
all worked on together to make and build up yourself. Like takes a lot of maybe the heart and the like you can always try really hard, but you can't fake enthusiasm kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like maybe that's where they're at with devs. You hear about like them just they're just bleeding talent, especially in like Montreal and stuff like that. Like you hear about like constantly they're losing talent everywhere, and then like on top of that, like you said, Gables, all the allegations. That's a whole nother can of worms. That they like, oh yeah, we're gonna work on it, and then like they just didn't talk about for a while, and then you like we just keep hearing that like nothing's changed, and they just don't talk about it, but like they act like it's better, but they didn't actually do anything. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much to say about it, but it just sucks because like they can be a top tier um developer. They have been not too long ago, and it just feels like I mean, like yeah, like I'm excited for Mario plus Rabbids,
Yeah.
but like you look at like they have Skull and Bones, and like that's all they have this year. Um, they have nothing the first quarter of next year, and then we have an Avatar game that we haven't seen that's coming out, and an Assassin's Creed game that we haven't seen that's coming out. I'm assuming maybe in September when we see the Ubisoft Forward, things will change. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything else you want to say on Gables before we move on?
Nah, I pretty much said my piece.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some different news. Unfortunately, not more uplifting news. So Advance Wars. Gables it's come out. They announced it E3 2020. It's come
Yes.
out December 8th
Okay.
of 2020.
Right.
Then got delayed. It sounded more like it got delayed because it was like just trying to find a spot to fit on the calendar where like it'd be fine. Like Advance Wars, like yeah, like the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate came out in December, but that's Smash Brothers. This is Advance Wars. It's a pretty dormant franchise. So they moved it to April 8th of this year, and then a few weeks before the game came out, the Russia invaded Ukraine, and then because of that, obviously, understandable, they delayed the game um, with no new date, and now a retailer called Cool Shop. I believe it's based in Europe somewhere. Sent an email out to people that have pre-orders saying it's February 24th. And it sounds like it could be true because they also accidentally leaked the date to the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition
Mm-hmm.
before the game was even announced.
Oh.
So they have a history of leaking it. And it's funny, this game just feels like it's been a lot of leaks. Like I believe like the Advance Wars, like before it was even announced, like leaked online
Yes, it did.
before it was announced at the direct, and then uh, Nintendo put before they even delayed the game. Nintendo had on the eShop the date of April 8th for weeks before they announced the game was delayed, and then they delayed the game. They delayed the game to April or to next year, but they didn't put a date out. But it still was the April 8th on the eShop itself, and then the game got delayed again, and we've been waiting. So it got delayed to February. I don't know. I mean, I've been excited for this game. I pre-ordered this game not like shortly after. Like
Yes.
I paid the game off like at GameStop. That's how excited I was for this game. I love the Advance War games. Growing up on Game Boy Advance and DS. I mean, like obviously you can like, oh, this is why you don't pre-order games. Oh, fuck off. The game was just come out in 6 months when I pre-ordered it. But now it's like I feel like I don't know. Like I understand what's going on in Ukraine, but I feel like it's been 4 months since they delayed it,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got no updates on it. It's like that game was like they made physical copies of that game.
Yeah, the game has been
Like
done for months.
yeah, that game has been done for months. Like the game, like literally, like I believe it was a week or two before it came out. It got delayed, so it's like I understand you want to wait. Like you want to say nothing right at that point in time in March and April, but it's like
Mm.
the war's still going on. I know that, but it's like if I mean, you can look at the like I pay attention to like TV ratings. I kind of find that stuff kind of fascinating, um, and the war in Ukraine just quite honestly people don't really care about anymore.
Yep.
I mean, I should say nobody cares about, but like the ratings when that happened obviously spiked for weeks, a couple months even, and then into May, its ratings for news and stuff like that has gone back to normal. Um, So I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's like I'm not saying, "Ooh, you put it out now." I'm not getting mad about that. I'm not saying anything like that. But it's like give an update. Like people like when you delay a game that far, that close to release, like people have the money. Like at that point, probably more people have money invested at that point than you know than they would like people that like someone like me that very few people probably pre-order that game and paid the game off months in like 6 months in advance before the first release date. I just feel like I don't know, give an update and maybe like at the next direct they do it, but like I said, it's been 4 months. You haven't had a direct since February, I want to
Mm.
say, and that's when they actually gave the April 8th release date. I don't know. I just feel like at this point, like if that's the date, say it, or like give us an update at least on it. Like it gives people an idea like when is it coming. It's like I think it's just my biggest frustration isn't the game isn't out now. Like I understand what's going on. I'm not like trying to be insensitive about that, but it's just like like just let us know. Tell us what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand what you're talking about with that, but I can understand that Nintendo definitely does need to communicate better in terms of when Advance Wars will release. This whole remake stuff has been done for months. At one point, people who had preloaded that game before its official release did have
Yeah, people are
access to
playing it.
play it
Yeah.
for a point in time before Nintendo pulled that access away. So, in that regards, I do not understand why it could not have been released at some point this year, and it's instead going to be a potential February 2023. I can understand that the release window is sort of stacked for Nintendo releases from
Yeah.
September all the way to the end of the year, but at the same time, it's another game that they're sitting on, and it's something
Yeah.
that they could release even as soon as like maybe like a September or maybe like even a
Yeah.
November. So
Well,
it honestly feels like that this makes less sense in order for you to go forth and hold it back in that retrospect. I mean, with the war of Ukraine aside, I mean they delayed it because of that sort of stuff with the whole Russian Ukraine stuff, which I fully understand.
mm,
And at the same point, you have the April release that was initially set upon. It was delayed from the 2021, that December 2021 picture, all the way up into 2022, and now with this being now what 3 months or so, 4 months now.
4 months since they delayed it.
Yeah, they got to go forth and communicate with us in regards to when this game's going to release, because you don't really want to rely upon other websites, especially certain shop sites, just randomly leaking this date everywhere. You know, like, oh, hey, it's going to be coming out in February, because people are going to honestly go through and look at that and say, why the fuck is it released in February? And blah, 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 and so on and so forth. But
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with it necessarily releasing in February. It's just a matter of like them not being the ones more communicating out. You know, like you said,
right.
like I think I agree. Like you made a good point. Like I think it's more so them looking at like when's a good time to release it. Like you said, like July is a pretty good month for them.
Mm-hmm.
August, September, pretty. I don't like they have Splatoon in September. That's pretty much it. October they have Mario plus Rabbids, Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm.
November they have
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet Violet. Yep, and then there's possibly the Metroid Prime remake. So there's, I mean, you look at this year, like it totally makes sense. Like I said, it's not so much that, like why is it not out now? Like I'm fine with that. So whatever. Like I look at my like there's tons of great games coming out. It's like the same thing I said with God of War, when like we weren't sure if that game was coming this year. It's like if it got delayed the next year, like yeah, I'd be bummed about it. But like man, look at this. The rest of this year is pretty fucking stacked. Like October alone is pretty fucking nuts.
Yes.
Like I talked about last week. So like if it comes out in February, that's fine. But it's just more of so like just talk to us, communicate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like the GoldenEye, like that game was supposed to come out a while ago, but then
And that also got
Xbox
delayed.
and Nintendo got together and like, well, I mean that one makes the most sense because that game is literally like pretty much all about Russia.
Yep.
So like they like that one makes a lot. That makes a lot of really a lot of sense
Yeah.
of why the game is being like not out yet. Like I totally get that. So like that one's like a direct comparison to Russia, where Advanced Wars is like indirectly comparing to Russia. But let's move on. Let's stick with Nintendo here for some Gables. Let's talk about how and that finally Nintendo has given us a date of when they're going to put a bullet in the back of the head of the 3DS and the Wii U. And that date is March 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So basically so I'm kind of reading here from Fanbyte here. So 3DS and Wii U eShops will go away completely on March 27th, but between now and then it will be losing some functionality. Earlier this year, it became impossible to use a credit card to add funds to these stores, but you could still use eShop gift cards to buy games and content. However, even that will be going away August 29th.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the only way to be able to get anything on these shops will be to redeem download codes. You can still, even after the March 27th date of next year, you can still re-download games that you have previously purchased. But as of right now, like I said, you can't use codes, but you can buy gift cards and do that, which is really easy. They also announced the Fire Emblem Fates Gables, the third Fire Emblem
Yes,
game.
Revelations, I think it was.
So Revelations. Okay, yeah. So they announced that like I guess like you have like until like a month before that to be able to download that or to buy that.
Hmm.
From what I understand. So like cuz like I was listening to a podcast they were talking about. They said that like you basically had to be at chapter 6 on the other two games to be able to buy the third game because it's only remember it was like $20 to get or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. So basically, like, if you don't buy it basically by the end of February of next year, then you won't be able it's just gone forever
Wow.
for you.
Yeah,
If
that's
you already own it, you can keep downloading it. But
unless you're one of
yeah,
the lucky few that got that special edition of Fire Emblem Fates back in the day to where you had both versions and access to Revelations all on that same package. I mean, you are going to be shit out of luck and try to find Revelations unless you try to go forth and emulate it.
yeah.
Because
So
that's what partially what plenty of people are going to be doing as in regards to some of the quote unquote games that are eShop only, like on the 3DS and on the Wii U, respectively. Like say like Harmonite, that's one thing that's on the 3DS eShop at this current time that was made by Game Freak, that rhythm based sort of runner type of game. But the
mhm.
fact remains is like there are plenty of games that are going to be going away as soon as they discontinued the eShop. Obviously, you have until next month in order to use like eShop points. You'll redeem the eShop points on there to actually buy stuff. I know I did a couple of transactions earlier on this year in regards to a few decent games, like the Phoenix Wright games. There are some Phoenix Wright games that have not come to other platforms at all, like Dual Destinies and like another one, because they're mostly touch base, like touch screen based sort of games in that regards. But it's giving a heads up to people who do own the Wii U or the 3DS still, and you're looking for decent games. Like now more than ever, do some do some video watching, read a couple of best-selling like lists and stuff, because the physical versions of some of these games that are on these services, they are going to spike.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they will get more harder to buy going down the line. Kind of like how with the announcement that PlayStation had not even like a year or so ago with the whole PlayStation Vita stuff that caused all that hullabaloo and stuff, how Vita games got fucking shot up through the roof.
Oh yeah.
Same thing is happening currently with some 3DS games, like Dragon Quest VIII, where that thing you can't even get used unless you pay over $150 for, and that's complete with the box. But for other games that are still respectable right now, like say Fire Emblem Fates Conquest and Birthright, you can still get those relatively cheap, like in comparison to some of the higher echelon 3DS games. I mean, on the eShop right now, I mean, you can get like hard to find, overpriced like JRPGs and stuff that you would spend an arm and a leg for in physical form, but you could definitely find them for a cheap price, like Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. That one comes to mind. That's like $80 physical. You can get like things like Radiant Historia, the remake. I don't think it was like a I think it's like a remaster of like the Radiant Historia game that was on DS, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
That you can buy for cheaper than that. Obviously, like things like Dragon Quest VII and like there's just a hodgepodge of JRPGs that will shoot up in price, obviously. But the fact remains is you have access to these services now for like up until like around a year or so from now. But next month, just this time next month and stuff is when you won't be able to add the actual eShop currency and stuff. But
Yeah. Without a gift card.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I was just while you're talking, I was trying to look to see if there's like possibly even like buy one in a store anywhere, and like nobody has them. And so I even
No,
look up like a console itself.
the current
I see them
Switch
pop up there.
cards.
And,
I know this, the current Switch cards. You can actually go and redeem them on Wii U and 3DS still, but
hmm, yeah. I was just kind of curious if like it's possible because man, if I'm just holding out hope, Gables, that we get Pokemon trading card game on the Switch someday. That's all I want. That's really all I want. That's all I care about. Like I bought it on my 3DS years ago, and I should just download a ROM for that. Say fuck it.
dude, I mean, at this point, if they don't provide access in order to actually go and allow you to purchase that game outright, if
Oh
it
yeah,
disappears, I mean, all by all
yeah,
means, emulate this shit.
yeah. I'm all for piracy if you can't physically like, or if you can't like actively give them money for the thing like that you want from them. Like I'm all for piracy.
That's the thing.
So yeah,
I used to be against piracy like for a hell of a long time because hell, I like to. That's the thing. I like to pay for my games legitly, but in regards
yeah,
to what's been happening the past few years, in regards to like the digital preservation of online games, I mean, you kind of have to go and pirate things because there are some aspects that will disappear and you will never find them ever again. They're
Or if you do find
gone.
them, like you got to pay ridiculous amount of money to a
Absolutely.
third party to get it. So yeah, I'm all for it. We've had the discussion before, but yeah, like my big thing is at least they give you like what is it, like 9 months, 10 months
At
to
least, yeah, at least they give you the common courtesy of knowing,
yeah,
hey, we're
yeah,
cutting it off.
yeah. It's not like what PlayStation did last year when they announced like, hey, in 4 months we're turning off PS3 and Vita,
Hmm.
and they did change that, but like yeah, like it's like my thing is like I understand that stuff's gonna go away, it can't stay up forever. But at least give everybody his. I think it's the 3DS one's a little weird because they were still actively supporting that like a year
Until
and a half ago.
2020.
Yeah, like they were still actively putting it. Like they weren't like anything major, but it's not like it's been a long dormant thing.
That's
Like
the
they
thing,
was
though. And that's so different because with the Wii, they at least supported that virtual console up until like around 2012.
yeah, and like they didn't shut it down until like what 2016 ish,
Yeah.
17 ish.
Yeah,
Like
2016, I think they shut down the
yeah,
Wii virtual
not too
console.
long before the Switch came out. So yeah,
Yep.
it's like yeah, like I mean, I guess it's been like what? I mean, the Wii U came out. They really stopped supporting that thing in like 2015. So
Yeah,
let's be honest. With
roughly.
let's be honest. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I understand. There's like that digital stuff. Like that's always gonna be an issue. But I don't know. Like I said, at least they're giving a year. But I still blows my mind that if I'm like a game dev that has games on there, like as soon as they announce that and it gets close to the date, I'm putting my shit out there for like I'm dropping all my prices down like 10 cents. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like just
Absolutely. I mean,
because you're never
however
gonna
the
make
fuck
another
you want.
dime. You're never gonna like literally never gonna make another dime on those games uh, on 3DS. So like if it's exclusively on there, just like the month before it goes on, it gets shut down. Like March 1st hits, I'm
Right.
dropping all my games down to 10 cents or
Now you
whatever.
see, that would earn you a lot of goodwill towards your customers that have been longtime customers for you. And also, I forgot to think about this for a moment, but as far as redeeming, like, say, eShop points and stuff like that, you could, if you have your account tied on to your 3DS, you can use the same one for the
The
Switch,
Switch,
you could still
yeah,
redeem, like, points and stuff
yeah,
on the
it's
Switch
cross.
and use them and cross.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't expect like Nintendo or big companies to do that, but like if you're like a indie company, like I said, and like you put some games on there that you can only get on there, it's like I would, like I said, drop those points, drop that money down, 90% off, whatever it is, and 95% off. Just get something for them.
Yeah,
Even if you only make a few bucks off of it, that's a few more dollars than you would have otherwise.
absolutely. That's what I did.
Yeah. So moving on though here, Gables. So we finally have Discord. Um, is coming to a console. Oddly
Hmm.
enough, not the one that invested money in them just last year. PlayStation. It is Xbox. Um, Xbox is they said announced that Discord voice chat integration will be rolling out to Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. Users allowing players to use allowing players to join voice channels accessible to anyone using the Discord app. This means easy access to all people using Discord on other devices such as phone or excuse me, had the burp there, phone or PC, all without any of the barriers that will come from using native chat. As
Nice.
of right now, they said that Xbox like insiders are able to like kind of use it in beta. And this is kind of something we all kind of I think all freaked out about last year when PlayStation invested a bunch of money and they said there's going to be some Discord integration involved with the PlayStation, and it just turned out like basically you can do the thing that you will be able to do with Xbox and Steam forever and Twitch and all that, where you can just like
Log
tie your
in.
accounts together, and now people can see like when I'm on PS5, I can see that like people like Gables can see that Tyler's playing like if you're on Discord, you can see Tyler's playing Madden or something like that,
Right.
like which is something that like I said Steam and Xbox have been doing
It didn't make
already for a
sense at the
while.
time because I
Yeah,
thought you could just log in on your console and just log in the Discord in your console and just do it that way.
yeah. So like I've done that. Like that was my hope for it, but I think that was the excitement for a lot of people, especially because they invested money in them. It wasn't just like, hey, where was a partnership? It's like PlayStation gave them money. It's like, but like Xbox is getting the thing that we wanted. out of it. And it's funny because like Xbox was very close to purchasing them, or Microsoft was rather, just a year or so ago. But this is exciting. Like we've been talking about. This has been my big thing for a while now. It was like people have been like super pumped about crossplay becoming a thing and becoming a normal thing. And it's slowly. I'd say more than slowly. It's cool. It's moving at a good pace, but it's not 100% across the board. But the big thing is like for me has always been if cross progression is more important to me than crossplay really. For me personally, but I understand like you just want to play with your friends. But the biggest issue is like, oh cool, you can play with your friends, but like now it's like you can't talk to your friend because if they're on PlayStation or Xbox, or if they're on Steam and you're on Xbox, or they're on Steam and you're on PlayStation, whatever, like it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't really still do much good. Because you can't like cool, you're playing together, but you can't really talk to each other unless like you're at like let's like you have like your PlayStation set up on your computer or something like that, or to work that way, or like you pull your phone out.
Or in this case, the scenario now, you're just gonna have your Xbox turned on, close voice chatting while you're playing on your PS5 or some shit, and doing it that way.
Yeah, which I mean, I remember Justin and I have done that in the past. Where like I remember when the Wii U era, we were like playing like Mario Kart shit. We got on a PlayStation party chat and talked to each other that way when we played Mario Kart, and Smash Brothers. So like we've done that, but like, yeah, I mean that's like the fact that like if like you're playing on PC or something like that, and they're playing on Xbox. It's like now it's like we have Discords. We've used it. Like I don't use it all the time, but like there's communities I'm in that's on Discord. We've recorded the show via Discord in the past, but we use Skype mostly because Skype's just easier for me with OBS. For some reason it just works better. I don't know why, but it works better. So we use Skype. But like Discord is very good. I like it. I like there's things I like more about it than Skype, but for some reason, like I said, Skype and OBS just work well together. But yeah, I love this idea. Like, that's cross-play, cross-progression, the two like really important things. Now we need to be able to communicate in like a easy fashion where like I don't have to like, cool, I have this really expensive headset now that I can't use because now I have to like talk to you on my phone.
Right.
With Discord while because you're playing on PC, and now I had to like, do I want to listen to the game and listen to you or listen to you, or do I want you to have like hear me playing the game while like the most annoying thing like back in the 360 days where people were like blaring the fucking like Call of Duty like on their TV with a cheap Xbox and like headset.
Yeah.
And it's like I can hear everything that's going on in your fucking TV while I'm trying to play the goddamn game. So yeah, like I love this idea. I hope it's not too far behind on PlayStation. And this just becomes the thing because like Discord is really good.
Yes.
I love it, and like if I like I said, if it's possible for like I remember like earlier this year, like we did a few of us. There's Fisherman, Mike, and we played Sea of Thieves, and like one was on his Xbox One was on his PC, and I was on my Series S. And we were all playing together, but it was worked out great because we were still able to use the Xbox chat because we were all playing through like Game Pass.
Yeah.
But that was awesome playing across two Xbox consoles and two different generations of Xbox consoles and a PC. But it's like now it's like I said, like Division 2 or something has crossplay. Like if Gables is playing on his PC and I'm playing on PlayStation, it's like that'd be awesome if like. Cool, we can talk to each other. Or like Destiny, it's cross-platform. You have friends say you're like they're playing on PC and like you're playing on PS5, and like that'd be an awesome thing where like you can all play together. You don't have to worry about being on the same platform. Like you don't have to worry about like I said, all the issues of like playing on like what the app and stuff like that. I don't know. I love it. What about you, Gables?
Well, yeah, you know what? I'm happy that Discord's going to be integrated pretty much into like what Xbox is doing, like on the console itself. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that's something I really wish that would have happened to the PlayStation deal, like you touched upon earlier. But other than that, though, I really don't have too much left to share because you kind of shared some of my same sentiments with that.
Sorry about that. I just kind of went on a tangent about
it. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm just excited about it. I just love this idea. I just. We're breaking down walls, Gables, and I am pumped for the future of gaming. Let's move on to some other news this week, Gables. What's up with November 8th? November 8th, a good day to just drop shitty games that no one's going to care about because November 9th, God of War comes out. You know
Okay.
what comes November 8th, Gables?
What?
Skull and Bones.
Oh.
You want to know what's coming out? You want to know what's rumored now to be coming out November 8th?
What?
Another shitty game.
Yeah.
Sonic Frontiers.
Oh no. Oh, I know it's bad laughing at that, but that's pretty much how you're going to send your games out to die, is have the biggest release of the year, or one of the biggest releases of the year, the very next day.
Yeah. I mean, just coming out in the winter is tough as it is. But yeah, like November 8th is a good day to send games out to die. So I just feel bad for Sonic
They
fans.
couldn't
Honestly,
wait
at this
for a
point.
week.
They couldn't wait till like the game is good. Which let's be honest, we can give them 10 years. The game probably isn't gonna be good. But I mean, or like just fucking wait till like, I don't know. I mean, you wait a week, now you're coming out on the same day as Pokemon. So
That's true
no.
too.
Wait till like February or something. I don't fucking know. But also Gables. What's about Mario Strikers?
All right.
Mario Strikers had a content drop that came out on Thursday, but they announced that they've added Daisy, Shy Guy, to the game as playable characters. They've also added one new stadium, Desert Ruin, and then added a new gear set at night. And they've also made changes here. They've increased how many items you can have displayed in notifications. They've made changes to like the way you can do random. They just made a lot of balancing updates as well. They've also announced that there will be 2 more updates for the rest of the year. And it sounds like that's going to be it. Is this doing anything for you, Gables?
This is the same thing that they initially did with Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Golf Super Rush. So it doesn't surprise me that they're going to willy-nilly release 3 updates for this and then just have added for that. At the same time, I feel that this is highly disappointing too, because for one, it's, from what I initially played through the demo, it's a fun game to play, but yet it's sparse on single-player content, and it's even more chaotic in regards to its online stuff, especially with the certain AI issues with the goalie and this and that, and the connection issues at times. And on top of that, you could do 2-player, right, in regards to online,
2v2,
like a 2v2, but you can't do a 4-on-4 squad
or 3v3,
or 3v3.
That doesn't make any sense
on a modern gaming platform. It's 2022, and the best way you can actually play this game is probably through couch co-op, if that. But at that same time, it's like the content. We have.
I think it's only
and
is it? How many players can you do couch co-op? Is it just still 4 players?
It could be 4 players. I've actually never tried.
So it's still the same. It's just 2v2.
Yeah.
Couch or online. So.
But essentially.
Yes. Yeah, I'm. It took Gables a little while, but now he's on my side about bitching about the Nintendo online services.
Well, that's the thing about it. I went through my initial thing with Mario Golf, Super Rush, and stuff, and I thought it was okay, but at the same time, I didn't go back after I finished that game, because even after the updates it initially had, because I went through the whole disappointing rigmarole, the single-player content, and I thought, you know what, it was not worth going back to finish that one up.
Yeah.
And so when I initially played the demo for Mario Strikers Battle League, and I felt kind of close to the same feeling I got when I played Mario Golf Super Rush, I'm like, the gameplay is fun, but the AI for your teammates and your goalie is kind of piss poor at best. And on top of that, everything else seems like it's lacking, and it feels like they just delayed finishing the game. They pretty much put out a beta of the game. That's what I'm going to say. They put out a beta of the game, and from now to the end of the year, they're going to have it in its official sort of form and be done with it.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious that, it's been pretty obvious in the past they've done this, but it's like they're just holding back content, and then releasing it a few weeks later. It's been 6 weeks at this point, I think, between the game coming out and them dropping this. They said there's gonna be 2 more.
Right.
They said they announced the same thing with Super Rush, the Mario Golf game last year. It's hey, there's gonna be content updates. I think they're gonna add more golf courses. They literally added one more golf course, and we're done. It's what? I think there's only 5 golf courses in that entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I thought about the time, the 3DS version that was $30 came out with twice as many courses than the $60 version on the Switch did.
Yes.
So yeah, and then that's my big complaint about these like Mario sports games. A lot of their like non like top tier games this entire generation. Like, and I understand that the games sell well, so why put maximum effort and resources into it? It's like these games are going to sell 5 million copies.
Nintendo, all they have to do is half-ass it and stuff, and they still sell 1 million copies.
Yeah, like it's the thing I've been saying for years now. Nintendo can just shit a game out and make it a 7 out of 10.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of how much more work they want to. Like, they can't, like, I should say they can't make a bad game, but I feel like they'd have to try to make a bad game. Looking at you, Star Fox Zero, it like I said, like they keep putting out the games like they're technically very good games. So then it's like you play them for a few hours, play them for a weekend, and it's like, all right, well, I just don't have a reason to come back to this game. And it's like that was the thing. People were even saying like when the game came out, like everybody's like, I don't understand why people are complaining about this game is great. And it's like, well, no, like that we're not complaining about the game being bad. We're just
complaining that you're not gonna play it more than say like a weekend at that.
Yeah, and then like immediately like I saw multiple people, like obviously it's like a small case here, but it's like I saw multiple people on my timeline like saying like a week or two later, it feels like the game was just kind of dead. It's like
it kind of is.
There isn't like
because it had its initial rush over the the launch week, and then all of a sudden it died, and people, even what I was keeping track of, like online or even like through YouTube or Twitter or whatsoever, they were done with it after the weekend.
A good way to like track stuff is like you look at honestly like a really great method to track. Like it's not 1-to-1 necessarily, but like a good way to check out how a popular game is doing is like you look at like Twitch. You look at how many people are playing the game simultaneously on Twitch, and that'll kind of tell you kind of how the game's doing. And after about a week, that game just like that second weekend, it just kind of dropped off a cliff. But Gables, let's move on to the most exciting thing. Gables, I have an idea of what we could do for Extra Life.
Yes, and what's that?
It's gonna cost you 1 penny.
1 penny.
Cost you 1 penny. Anthem. Oh, Gables is getting talked to here. He's getting yelled at.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, Gables. What are you doing on November 5th, 2022? It's a Saturday.
That's an Extra Life.
24 hours. That is Extra Life. Gables, what if I were to tell you that Anthem would only cost you 1 penny at GameStop?
You want to play Anthem on November 5th, don't you?
I don't want to, but I'm saying we could. I bought that game day one. I played it for like a total of like an hour and a half. Like, I'm kind of good. But I feel like Gables seems like a good day to do it. I will ship it to your house.
You know what?
It won't even cost you 1 penny. It will cost me a penny plus shipping.
Oh, you know what? Why the hell not?
All right, we're playing fucking Anthem, everybody.
Like, why the hell not, man? I mean, we're gonna be playing games for 24 hours anyway, so it's like, I'll go through the process of putting it in my freaking PS5, installing it, and then we can play some bit of Anthem.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna go on the GameStop app here on my phone here. See what... I wonder if they even ship it to me. It's like, sir, it's gonna cost us money. We're not shipping this to you.
Watch, it could be like about $5 shipping.
Whoa, what the fuck? Why is it $37 on here?
Was it like a cent?
Why is it only... They don't have an Xbox version. I wonder if everybody bought the game because it was 1 penny. I don't know. Gables, I'll figure it out and I'll send you a copy, okay?
Okay, no
and then
pressure.
We're gonna play it. All right, we got 4 months to worry about it. Like, well, no less than. Oh my god, we're like a little over 3 months away.
A little over 3 months away. Yep.
I am excited, Gables. We gotta start talking about that shit here soon. I got chills just thinking about. I got goosebumps in my arm right now.
Yeah. Just
thinking about fucking Extra Life. I'm excited. Oh boy. I mean, we got some big games coming soon. Got Extra. Oh, daddy. I officially got approved for November 10th and 11th off of November. It's pretty exciting. Because that's the Thursday and Friday after Extra Life.
Yes.
Because the Wednesday after Extra Life is November 9th. You want to know what comes out that week, Gables? Sonic Frontiers.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. No, it's God of War.
I'd be laughing my ass
So
off. It was like, oh, it's a Sonic Frontiers.
it's like, yeah, it's like just me at GameStop holding both copies of the game. Like, oh, I got more Sonic Frontiers, and then like put them both down, Skull and Bones. Grab it off the shelf. Like I'm buying that, taking you
Oh
home.
my God, dude. I can imagine the dude over the counter just looking over. It's like, is he really gonna pick Skull and Bones over? I got no right.
It's like, sir, do you need help? Like they just like we need to leave. They ban me from the. Like, these guys just walk up and like
the moment
the manager was
goes
going to
live, it's
tase me.
yes,
He's like,
sir,
you need to
here
go.
Now get the fuck out of my store.
Cops come and arrest me. He's like, what was he doing? He's like,
People-
he was gonna buy Skull and Bones.
Okay.
Oh,
book him.
say no more. Say no more. And also he had like 4 copies of Anthem. I don't know what he's doing. Gables, what have you been playing this week?
All right. I finished up Pokemon Silver, that playthrough finally, after starting it like about a week and a half ago at this point. It took me longer than I initially thought. Over 30 hours, as a matter of fact. But the last time I recorded, I was finishing up the Pokemon League. And I was going into the Kanto region again, because that's the after-game content. What's interesting was with my set of team, I managed to go through and beat the entirety of the Elite Four and the champion. So went through William, went through Bruno, went through Koga, went through Karen, and also Lance and his bullshit dragon types. But going to the Kanto region, there really wasn't too much challenge at that point, give or take. I spent the whole entire post-game pretty much leveling up most of my party members to a certain extent. So when I initially got all the Kanto badges, I had to go forth that trek up Mount Silver to battle Red, because I don't officially call it game beaten in Pokemon Gold and Silver if not for beating Red. So here's the thing. I was at level 45 with all of my party members. No, actually, like around 40 something. Yeah, 45, I want to say. I go to face off against Red for the first time, and I was able to beat the Pikachu, which was like level 81, but I ended up losing to Red's Espeon, I want to say, because that thing's speed is incredible when it comes to my team in specifics, considering that a lot of them are pretty slow moving Pokemon. I spent a good portion of a later part of like this week working on the battle against Red up until around Tuesday or Wednesday. I managed to get a good run. So I nailed it down to a science here, right? To where I got all my Pokemon to, all except for one, Mori, my Skarmory. I kept it at level 44 because I felt like it was leveled up to a point where I felt comfortable with it. That, and I didn't want to do even more grinding in the Mount Silver area because that's such a son of a gun in order to level up that thing. So I got it up to 44. But for all my other party members, I got up to around, I want to say 55, roughly about that. And so I started my battle against Red. Starting off, I had Don Morocco, my Don fan, up first. The worst the Pikachu could do against me is use Charm, which that decreases the attack by 2 stages. Even though after being hit with Charm and my attack being down, I used Earthquake. It knocks out his Pikachu in like 1 hit because Pikachu's stats are terrible in regards to his defense. So next comes in the Venusaur to try to counteract, because the AI will work it to where it'll bring in the Pokemon where it's strongest against your current Pokemon if it has the chance. And so since I have Dawn Fan out comes Venusaur. I switch out to my Ampharos, Wooly. I know for a fact that Venusaur is going to use Sunny Day, so I opt to use Fire Punch. And because of it being at such a higher level than Ampharos, it'll go for Sunny Day and allowed speed. So with Sunny Day out, that powers up Fire-type moves. So Fire Punch does exactly like around, I want to say close to half damage. Next turn happens, and I switch out to Mori, my Skarmory. So what ended up happening right there, it's like I take...
Sorry, I dropped my phone.
It's okay.
I found Anthem for $7 on Amazon.
Oh, you're going on that one, man. But I tank the hit with Solar Beam, and it doesn't even barely do a quarter damage against Skarmory because it's quad resistant to grass. So I ended up putting up Sandstorm, and Sandstorm will take away chunks of HP at a time. So I get hit with Solar Beam again. I go and use Fly. I knock out the fucking Venusaur with my Skarmory, and because Skarmory is out, it puts into play a interesting turn of events. It has Red put out his Charizard. Charizard has been one of the biggest pain in the asses because that comes out late, like within the match. So I was hoping that he would put it out early in that case and scenario. So with Charizard, I end up putting in my Feraligatr. Now, granted, because of the whole aspect of the sandstorm and the whole thing of sunny day, those elements are faded away, no longer into effect. I use Surf. I get his Charizard to at least over halfway done. It uses Flamethrower. It takes a huge chunk of my HP, but I go and use Surf again, knock that out. And now out comes Espeon. And I have to think to myself, okay, what the hell am I going to do to try to counteract this thing? So I ended up getting rid of Psychic on Menace, the Girafarig, and I decided just to leave Shadow Ball, and I still have, like, say, Double Team and, like, Baton Pass, and also another move that I was using, Agility. But I predominantly used Shadow Ball, and I was able to not only take out Espeon's, like, special attack. No, not special attack. I was able to knock down its HP to, like, within range of a 2-hit KO, pretty much. And I knocked out the Espeon. Like, out comes not Snorlax. Out comes Blastoise, I think it was. Because at this point, I've already knocked out about 4 of his 6 Pokemon. And so Blastoise comes out. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I can actually go forth and have a option to go forth and win this battle. So I put back in my Ampharos. I was able to take it out with, like, Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch was going through its rigmarole stuff, but I was able to do that. At this point, I think after I knocked out the Blastoise, I had about 3 or 4 Pokemon left because a couple of my Pokemon went down, and so out comes Snorlax, right? And so now that I think about it, I didn't really knock out Espeon with my Girafarig. No, what ended up happening was there's a funny play that happened. I taught Donphan the move Endure. When you use that, it'll brace itself and hold on to 1 HP. I forgot that Espeon knocked out my Girafarig. I put in Donphan, Don Morocco. I used Endure not once, not twice, but 3 turns in a row, and I managed to freaking, like, last out the Espeon because the reason why my Feraligatr got knocked out, Toki, is because I used the turn before I got knocked out to put Toxic on Espeon. I figured, hey, the Pokemon's going to outspeed me. I could stat it on top of try to whittle down its HP on top of using Endure with Donphan and stuff. It's sort of like a complicated play, but the odds of me actually using Endure 3 times in a row and it actually working was incredibly low, which I got incredibly lucky with that. And yeah, one Pokemon remains Snorlax. Snorlax knocks out it knocks out Donphan after I use an Earthquake on it. Now comes the interesting play. I still have Ampharos, and I have the one Pokemon I hadn't used so far, Hercules, my Heracross. So Hercules comes out. I think to myself, you know what? It's probably going to use Body Slam. I'm going to go forth and use Counter. And how I went through and baited him with that, I used Reversal first and foremost. I whittled down its HP to like about a quarter, and all of a sudden he uses Body Slam. He does a bit of damage, but then I decide, hey, I could take enough of this. I'm going to use Counter, and all of a sudden it gets Heracross down to just 2 HP. And all of a sudden I hit it with Counter, and it took the rest of the fucking life points off. I had managed it just right to where I had Heracross survive with 2 HP. I still have the fucking picture of it that I initially took because that was awesome. The way not only that I systematically was able to figure out how that AI was going to use specific Pokemon in specific situations, but on terms, I found a creative way to bypass like his Espeon and this and that, and counteract certain things. And I had to use a lot more thought to put into it instead of just leveling up a specific Pokemon to say level 70 or level 100 and stuff and just steamroll his team through that. It required some level of skill to do that. So I beat Pokemon Silver. I started and I was playing through Pokemon Puzzle League on the N64 because that's a game I've never played through and beat. Let me tell you something, Tyler. How I know that my fucking hands are not as good as they used to be is when I'm playing this game in handheld mode, right? And I'm just tapping the buttons, just going through the puzzle, and my right thumb is fucking going numb as I'm doing this shit, dude. It's the worst.
The worst.
It's the fucking The thing about my right hand in general, my right arm, I have
carpal tunnel.
Not carpal tunnel, but like I have like some sort of like nerve sensitivity like stuff, and all of a sudden it's like if I hold things a certain way or if I freaking like play certain games like that.
I get it, Gables. You have a big thing in your hand with your right hand. I get it.
It's like it'll freaking go numb as I'm doing that. It's just a tingling feeling.
The Stranger. People like that.
I wouldn't put it in that way. But in regards to Pokemon Puzzle, I love the look you just gave. Like, what? What's he talking about?
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, playing through Pokemon Puzzle League, I played through the entirety on normal, and then I decided, you know what? It's telling me to play through on hard. I'm going to go forth. I'm going to try to play through on hard. And so I get up to around, I want to say, I got past Lorelei, and then all of a sudden Bruno, and I kept losing to Bruno like about 7 or 8 times in a row because I couldn't fucking get it fast. I couldn't like switch the tiles fast enough in order to fucking beat Bruno, because my fucking thumb would keep going numb, and so I had to use my Pro Controller because that feels so wonderful on my fucking fingers when I'm.
Oh, I didn't realize you weren't using a Pro Controller. You're a fucking idiot, Gables.
What?
Sorry, I love you. You weren't using a Pro Controller?
Actually, no, because it was during the times after, like, I got off from work and I'm like in my bed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch a stream.
Gotcha. Okay. And I thought you were playing on your. I'm sorry. Dude, I don't mean to call. I'm sorry. I take back calling you fucking idiot. I thought you were like playing at home, using the bullshit fucking like you slide the nunchucks into the thingamajiggy.
No.
Okay. I take back any negative things I said about you.
No. What I was using was my Hiyori slide-ons for my handheld.
Gotcha.
Right? So these buttons they're pretty stiff. Honestly, they're pretty stiff. Yeah. They're responsive and everything and stuff. The whole joystick stuff.
Stiff things, right hands, the Stranger.
But
I got it.
The way things are all positioned and stuff, my thumb will fucking start going like tingly and all this other shit. But I was having trouble doing that thing in handheld, but at the same time, I switched it off to my Pro Controller, played it on my TV, did better. Finally got past fucking like Bruno, and now I'm at the final battle with Gary Oak. And so I ended up losing a couple different times and stuff until I finally got to a fucking position to where I managed to edge him out. And I managed to beat him.
You're edging?
Edge him out in puzzles.
Okay.
I managed to subsequently get a good, decent amount of chains right before like he was about to beat me. And I freaking beat him like about a half a second. That's how freaking close it was. So I actually beat Pokemon Puzzle League this week.
Did you, Gables? Did you not? Did you beat Professor Oak on hard?
Professor Oak on hard? What do you mean Professor Oak on hard, dude? I played through the game on normal and hard.
Gables,
what?
To beat the game, to get to the final boss, you have to beat Professor Oak on hard.
Professor Oak on hard. Oh, that's pretty funny. But
there's a battle if you beat Professor Oak on hard. There is a battle after that. I'm not. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Honestly, no. I think I'll find out for myself. I'll try to see what I can do. But there is an option to where you can play it on very hard by using a certain bit of like button combinations and stuff like that. But as of this moment right now, I'm pretty much done playing Pokemon Puzzle League up until I want to try it again some other time. But the games that I did start that were brand new, I was playing Neon White. Now, let me tell you something, Tyler. This game feels like the marriage of two games that I like a lot, and that is Mirror's Edge
Mm-hmm.
alongside of action hack and slash sort of games in first person. So trying to think of a good one. Trying to think of a good one right at the moment. But oh gosh. But what I'm trying to say is this game has this one more game feel to it. Absolutely has that
Yeah.
one more game sort of feel to where you can go through a specific obstacle course and stuff. You can speed through as quickly as possible. The whole point of it is to earn enough rank and stuff to earn different types of missions and stuff because you as Neon White, you wake up in heaven and stuff and you have to kill demons in order to progress in rank enough to where you can get actually accepted into heaven. It's sort of a crazy sort of like anime inspired story in that regards. But at the same time, there are some voice actors that are in this game that remind me of like dub anime stuff I used to watch growing up. So you have the voice actor for Spike Spiegel of Cowboy Bebop, right? Which he has this deep sort of voice and stuff that's really recognizable for those that usually like they've watched their fair share of like anime stuff, and he's more akin to Cowboy Bebop, one of the most popular anime stuff that came out like around 2001, I want to say. But
Nobody likes anime Gables.
but anyway, like I was saying though, for Neon White, the gameplay is so tight, it's so reactive, and also it is so fluid. It feels natural for me to go forth into a stage, literally discard cards, do double jumps, do triple jumps, or something of the sort, go and skip through to complete like stages and stuff. And if you earn enough to where you could get certain medals in the different stages, because here's the thing, you get like all these different medals from like bronze, silver, gold, and platinum based upon how well you do in a stage, that it will literally unlock specific maybe hints on how you can go through the level quicker. Or there are actually little icons that if you go back to a certain stage and you get these specific icons and stuff like that, it'll show you a shortcut through the way you can actually go through that path and do a bit quicker as well and during that attempt. But there's also gifts hidden inside these different stages to where when you go to this specific type of bar inside of like the heavens, like overworld or wherever the hell that this is stationed at, you get to talk to the other type of neons because there are other neons inside this game as well. So like neon yellow, violet, red, just stuff like that. So there's different colors based
Was
upon
John Mayer there?
no.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
didn't know
kind
if
of
he was
funny
there,
if
but
it
I
was
was seeing
John
what
Mayer.
neon, neon. Sorry, go on.
But the whole key aspect of it is you have amnesia as well as the other people that are considered neons and stuff, but all of you know each other in some way. There's some like long-term memories or something like that, but they can't remember who they are or what they initially were as being alive and stuff because up until then they were in purgatory up until being summoned by heaven in order to kill a bunch of these demons and stuff. So it's sort of like a bounty hunter sort of like hired gun for hire type of stuff. But the reason why you get these gifts and stuff is you try to earn like the trust and affection of these different like neons and stuff like that in order to do better in terms of skill points. Because here's what happens when you do give them gifts, you get access to certain levels in regards to these specific games too, which are like trial challenges from like other games, but they are much more kind of intense in some nature to where you have maybe a select amount of options and stuff, but you have to do all these particular type of jumps and sequence or something like that in order to get to the end goal or something. But I went the entirety of episode 1, which consisted of 10 chapters. I let's see, I did the entirety of episode 1 like at least a couple of times. I think I've put about a few hours into this game and I'm really enjoying myself. I mean, this is something that I didn't think I'd be this much into because of how easy approachable it is to pick up and play, but for 25 bucks this game is actually freaking excellent from what I've experienced. But lastly, I did play a little bit of like Dungeons of Dreadnought, that game that was like $4 or something in the eShop. And it's also kind of cheap on Steam as well. And it's the type of It's a kind of a puzzle game and stuff to where you have to find your brother that went inside this dungeon to try to take on like the Skeleton King or some sort of king, and your brother gets kidnapped. It's like 100 floors deep, right? And then each floor is like a particular puzzle. Each time you solve a particular puzzle and stuff, it is a little jingle or something. You go on to the next floor. Sometimes you have to go back to the previous floor in order to go even deeper into like the other floor and stuff. I think I went until like around level 5 or 6 or something like that until I just decided to put it down because after that I pull it because previously I played a whole bunch of like Neon White and I just decided to try this game off the cuff and stuff. And there are some fun elements to that. I just need to get better at figuring out some of the puzzles to advance further inside this dungeon because it is somewhat interesting because the core design of it is simple to understand to where you have to go through different tiles, you have to lure enemies onto specific spots in order for them to drop in the trap holes, or you have to try to avoid all these fire tiles or fireballs coming at you by dodging specific portions because it's initially one hit and you die type of mentality. So you have to respawn and repeat the level over again and stuff. But yeah, it's also been an enjoyable game. But other than that, I did buy the Cuphead Delicious Last Course. I have yet to start that because, well, I've been playing a little bit more Neon White, and so I definitely want to keep on playing some more Neon White, and I'm on the cusp of potentially buying Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Still undecided, but it all depends upon not just the reviews, but also depends on what my game stuff is going to be like come next week, because I really just want to play through Neon White stuff. So it's a wait and see sort of approach with me. But Tyler, have you been playing anything, or is that it?
No, I've been playing a game. It came out on Game Pass this week, Gables.
Yeah.
And when we talk about Game Pass, what do we call it?
No, the best deal in gaming.
You're goddamn fucking right, Gables. I have been playing a game called As Dusk Falls.
Oh.
It's a game I've been looking forward to. They announced it last year, and I was like, I'm pumped. And when they announced it last year, they showed off again at E3 some Game Fest, whatever you want to call it, this past year. And the game release date, July 19th, finally came out. Heard pretty good reviews. This is like a group of people that used to work. I just lost the name of the studio. People that made Detroit Become Human.
Oh, okay. I get the idea of what you're getting.
Heavy Rain. Those people.
Aquatic Dream.
The people that made Heavy Rain. So people that left that studio and made their own studio.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully less sexual harassment going on there.
Right.
So this game is like I said, it's on Game Pass. It's only on Xbox and PC as of right now. And so it's kind of what you more of what you expect from like like a Telltale game or Life is Strange, or like I said, Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, but like less, like just pretty much zero gameplay. Whereas like I love the art style, whereas it's like all hand drawn animation and there's no actual like really no real animation as far as like movement goes. Everything is like picture based, so things just like move in like almost like frames of pictures instead of like actual, like instead of seeing someone walk down the street, you just see them like jumping from like area to area because it's more like you're looking at a picture of someone moving, which can get kind of like funny at points because like when we're trying to show like emotion, it's kind of funny sometimes how that works. I just finished chapter 3. I believe there's 6 chapters, each chapter being about an hour long.
Okay.
There's not really much exploration, but one of the things I love about this game is like, so you play as Vincent. He is he's the dad. He has a daughter and a wife, and they're driving with his dad. I believe his name is Jim. They're driving from Sacramento to St. Louis. They're like starting up. There's a bunch of storyline reasons you'll find out later on. They are moving there because of, like I said, storyline reasons, but they're in Arizona somewhere. It takes place in May of 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And they get like sideswiped by somebody they're in the middle of the desert, and the car breaks down because of it, and the person like drives off, and you later find out they're like, people doing this is the Holt boys. They're like 3 brothers Two of them are like, there's like the oldest one, Tyler, no relation. There's like the middle child. He's, I don't know how old these kids are, but like he's older, like out of high school. Maybe not too long out of high school. I think Dalt is his name. And then there's the youngest one, Jay, who I believe just graduated high school. So he's like 17, 18 years old. And you play as Tyler, and you play as Jay, the youngest brother of the three, and you play as Vincent, and you're basically like, each chapter like kind of takes place, and like sometimes you'll go back in time and like jump back into like kind of things that have like happened in the last week or two for these people to like how they got to like things happen, and like based off decisions you make, that will change their personality types and make decisions that they will do later because based off of those decisions, which is really cool. I think that's interesting. Because a lot of games like, yeah, like they'll go with, like you hear like, like you can have these complaints about a lot of the games where it's like, like you do this, like 90% of the same things will happen, but it's slight variation. Like the decisions you make slight variations on what happens in that. Like, but like 90% of it is the same for everybody. It's just like you decide the 10%. And I love like, I still like those games to extent, like Telltale games, stuff like that. Like, like a lot of those games didn't change drastically, but the games are still really, really good. But really, ultimately, like your decisions weren't like drastically changing. Like Life is Strange, I feel does a much better job of this one. But like, this game, I love it because every time you beat a chapter, it will show you like the board, like it's almost like a bulletin board,
right?
Of like, here's the decisions that you made, and it shows you like like you did this, so it caused this and it caused that, and it'll show you like it doesn't tell you what would have happened if you did this, but you can see all the other paths that you could have created based off of that decision. So it's showing you the work,
right?
Which I love. Because like I hate that when like you play this game like something I listen to like The Quarry that came out last month. Like I listened to a couple spoiler casts and I watched a couple people playing online, and I was like, it blew my mind like some of the like differences for people that happened in that game, like based off of like things they did. Where like, holy shit, I didn't even know that could happen. Like it's like totally like changed everything about that game for a lot of people. Like some people's like gameplay was totally different, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But like I love when that happens. But like I love this even more because like you don't know that unless you seek it out in those type of games. And this game, it's like they show you the work, like I said, where it's like you can see like, okay, I did this, and like here's my path, here's all the things, like here's my spider web that I followed, that like, and like, but like even though you pick this way, there's still four more things that could have happened because of that. But like it's not just like A B. It's like, well, you did A, so it led to B, so it led to E, and that led to J, and then led to Z kind of things. And like sometimes like you can make decisions that will totally like just stop a section right there and it'll move on.
Oh, I see.
And you can see like, oh I just cut this whole storyline off earlier. Like I could have pressed somebody for more information, and that could have continued on that whole chapter, that whole section there. But instead, because I just took their word for it, it's just, oh right, well we're cutting it off and we're moving on to the next thing. Like I made the decision in the game where it's like, and like there's like, so basically, okay, I'm swimming back up here. I'm sorry. I do this every time when I talk about these type of games. I just get ahead of myself and I totally start skipping points. So what's really cool is like, so like basically what's happened is the Holt boys, like they're money issues, and you learn more about like, why. Basically, they're a bunch of like, so Jay, the kid you play as the youngest, he's a good kid. He's just got a shitty family, and they make him do bad things, and they're robbing a house. And it turns out it's the sheriff of this small town in Arizona that are robbing, and turns to like because of the accident, Vincent and his family are staying at this hotel, and it just happens the Holt boys they go to this hotel, and it's just a hostage situation where the three boys are like holding them hostage from the cops, and people in your group can die based off of things that you do, things that like it's like things off based off things that you did can cause things later. I've lost like I'm only halfway through and I've lost a couple people based off of my decisions I made. Where it's like, and it's like, okay, cool, I can do this, but like it could very well benefit me, but it could cause issues down the road. And then sure enough, the next chapter, like because of this decision I made, like that helped me out in that situation. Someone died because of my decision I made. I love the fact that like it's not super obvious and it's not just like, well, you did this right now, so that immediately this thing happened. It's like you did this, so like 2 hours from now, this thing happened. So there was a big moment where like decisions I made with Tyler, or not Tyler, I'm sorry, that's old brother, Jay, the brother you play as, like I basically crafted his characteristics earlier in the game, and it made him making a big decision at the end of chapter 3.
Ah,
Like he could like, there's 4 different things he can do, um, that he can make based off of like decisions I made earlier in the game. That like, well, these are things that I think I would have done in those situations. They seem like good deeds, good things you would do. Um, but because of that, some of these decisions I made, it turned out very badly for Vincent because of those decisions I made. And like at the end of every chapter, they show you, like I said, they show you like that. They show you the work. They show you like your spider web of like decisions you made that caused other things. But also they show you like character traits. Like because of this, it's kind of like the Quarry and like other games like that have done that in the past, where it's like you can actually kind of change like, you know, like their character a little bit, and like things they might just do automatically, and that's kind of what I like about it. Like there's no like, you don't physically walk around the area. You don't do like, you don't just go like, it's not like Telltale you go walk to everybody. It's just like you, like I said, like it's all, everything's just, it's a movie. Everything's going, and you just like, you might have to swipe up every now and again. You might have to like tap A. You might have to mash a button. You might have to like fight scenes here and there, but like yeah, like so far I'm really liking this game. I think it's like I said, 6 chapters. I've just beat chapter 3.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep playing it, but yeah, so far this is very much a me game for sure, and I'm gonna beat it. I bought Live Alive, but I have not got a chance to play it. I did play the little bit of the demo though, so that's all I played. That's all I've been up to, Gables.
Alrighty.
But yeah, let's get out of here though. It's been we're a little long, but thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked all this, please like, follow, subscribe, check us all out, search for us, you'll find us. Click on those show notes down at the bottom and click all the links, and we really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, review, all that. But I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, have yourself a fun time, and thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yes.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.